Yo,
You beautiful man. How you doing today?
like your hair, it's so long and pretty.
Man, I know, man. It's my Spanish hair is finally coming out. Like it's getting pretty bad, man. How you
All you
doing?
Mexican, your Mexican accent to kick in.
Oh yeah, man. Dude, I've been practicing my Spanish. I've been talking to my dad every day. Like
Like,
it's been I mean, what else is there to do, man?
what? How come you don't speak Spanish fluently? But your dad, you and your brother are both Mexican.
Yeah, we're both
Yeah,
Spanish. Like our immediate family is from Mexico, but our ancestors are from Spain.
yeah, so I'm curious. Your dad speaks Spanish fluently. Why didn't you learn how to speak Spanish?
It's a really good question. I know God, I just think he never got the chance to really teach us. And I know that like he wishes he did too, because I told him, I was like, hey, I'm brushing up on my Spanish. And he was like, oh, mijo. Like he just starts rambling in Spanish. And so like he's kind of guiding me through it now. So like I've been learning a lot lately because I have nothing but time on my hands.
Sure.
And yeah, so like we've just been speaking Spanish, but I can tell that he really wishes that he taught us as kids, but he just never did.
Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. Only because it would just seem that in California, with such a large Mexican population, that'd have been like second nature to you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure why. I probably have to ask both of my parents that. I don't know if, God, I really don't know the answer to that question. I don't know why because I know my father would always speak to his mother and his grandmother in Spanish. Just my brother and I were never taught. So it's a really good question. I might have to nudge him and be like, hey, what's up with that? Like, I'm now 33 and now I'm finally learning, you know? And it's good to actually learn languages at an early age because the part of your brain that can learn and receive, like learn new languages, actually deteriorates as you get older. So it actually, as you get older, it gets harder to learn new languages.
Oh, well, it gets as you get older, it makes it hard to learn any like useful new skill. Like for my birthday, a friend of mine got me a guitar, and so I had my first guitar lesson on Monday, and it was the most painful thing ever. Because being a novice at a later age sucks.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. By the way, happy birthday, by the way. Yeah, so everybody that's going to watch, because we're going to keep this on our IGTV indefinitely. So everybody, it's Cass's birthday right now. Cass, just to kind of fill everybody in on what we're doing, Groove books concerts across the U.S., and we can't book concerts right now. So we thought this would be a good opportunity to show everybody, you know, the amazing people that we work with. And Cass here, Casimir, is just an amazing human being that runs a lot of our shows, if not all of them, in New York. So he does all of our shows in New York and Brooklyn. Amazing friend that I met through one of my brothers, through Keith Myers. Shout out to Keith. And yeah, so this is Casimir, man. Yeah, not to just hop right into it, but dude, how are you doing?
I mean, good as well as it can be. You know, I'm happy I survived another life. You know, another year of life on on the earth. It's just really weird having a birthday in COVID because usually around this time, my birthday fell on Memorial Day weekend, so before it would have been like rooftop party and then a second party, then maybe going to a movie and like a drinking bender and then maybe some time with friends, and it was masks and carry out drinks and
Yeah.
parties. So it was very interesting that whereas I'm very grateful to have another year of life, it was just the COVID pandemic has really changed my perspective on life and just how you appreciate people now, because now there was, everyone talks through phone and Zoom, and you really see who's in your corner and who's not when some shit like this happens.
No, I hear you on that for sure. Yeah, I think the selling of the Groove hats have been testament to that because like obviously all of our shows got shut down, and seeing everybody just like come in and support and share and buy the hats, like it's been overwhelmingly warming.
Nice.
Where did you get takeout drinks for your birthday?
We went to East Point, and we went to another place called Fonda in the East Village. I went with Moon, so it was nice.
Brad, that was going to be my first question if Moon
Yeah.
was with you. So Moon's, just so for everybody who doesn't know, Moon's just an amazing mutual friend, just phenomenal human being. Speaking of warming, he's just a very warming, very loving, just awesome human being who also really knows how to party. So I'm glad he was with you on your birthday.
It was a cool time.
Right, man. So yeah, again, happy birthday. Other than your birthday, though, what have you been doing to kind of keep yourself busy during quarantine?
Well, I've been picked up this little bad boy. I'm teaching myself the guitar. I figure spend enough time around musicians, I would learn how to be one. Uh, I've been doing a lot of exercising. You know, I've been boxing a lot and running again. Like, you know, 'cause I think prior to this, I never had time to work out, even though I'm a trainer. So it was nice to actually have some time to really regiment and kind of be selfish and like prioritize my own workouts. So I've been doing that. Watching a lot of
Right.
cool stuff on Netflix and Hulu. You know, shows I would never watch. I'm actually watching some very cool and new stuff. So I'm kind of expanding my tastes. Reading, you know, getting some, you know, catching up on the books. Finally, that were sitting on my desk collecting dust and, you know, trying to be creative. You know, trying to write stuff. I just got into an acting class, so I'll be doing that in June.
Right.
Virtual
Well, I'm glad you brought that up too. So, sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you.
no, go ahead.
But yeah, so for everybody watching, Casimir, he runs a lot of our shows. He introduces the band, like runs a really tight ship. But aside from just working with Groove, like you are like you're an actor, and you've been in like I actually wrote a small list, but this is just a small list compared to what you've actually done. You've been in Law and Order, One Life to Live, The Blacklist, Bromance, The Bargain. I've got like a big list of things here that you've been in, which of course I knew. You and I knew. Like we talk about it a lot. And you've got things that are coming out that are still in like post-production and whatnot. I definitely wanted to ask you, because I know how this pandemic has affected the music industry, but how have you, like, how has it affected like auditioning and getting roles, and just how has it affected the film industry for you?
I mean, we're shut down completely. Right now, you're not shooting anything anytime soon. Like, California is like struggling with it right now. Right now, SAG, AFTRA, Broadway is done till next year.
Wow.
Broadway, and that kicked Manhattan in the heart because that's tourism, that's, you know, actors, all theater is done, so all the theater actors. If television film right now, they're trying to figure out a way on how to structure socially distant productions. They're going to be cutting production crews in half. You know, I was reading that cast and crews, like, you know, cast, like right now, Avengers, you couldn't shoot Avengers anymore.
Wow.
Like, those things are too big. Like, ensemble cast with 10 to 15 characters are going to be down to 6 if you're lucky. Older actors are going to have their scenes shot separately because they're more at risk for catching COVID. And right now the fear is it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be feast or famine in terms of if you don't have a big agent, you're not working consistently, the top agencies are going to cannibalize all the work because you can't shoot that many shows that more anymore. Or what I'm hoping happens, which would be nice, they have a rotation of actors. Let's say we use these 10 actors to shoot this show, and since we already use them, we don't want to increase exposure. We need a new crop of actors to do this show. So I'm hoping to be in that second wave of A team got shot, put B team in. So there's an opportunity for new actors if they're lucky to be positioned. So I'm actually kind of excited about it in a weird way.
Gotcha. Right on. Yeah, I was definitely curious just because it's definitely affecting every industry, but it seems that the entertainment industry, both music and film, has just been like almost decimated by it. Like you see it with all the venues. Yeah, like our venues have like you know, GoFundMe pages set up to help pay their staff. It's just completely chaos.
800,000 people are out of work in the film industry right now. 800,000.
Wow, just in the film industry.
Yes, because of all those gaffers, all those grips, all the makeup artists. I'm not even talking about the actors who are doing well. I'm talking about the people like the catering, the production assistant, the lighting guys, all those people who make the film happen. All of them are out of work right now.
You know, I was trying to share with one of my friends recently. I was explaining something similar with music. Like I tried to tell him, like, when you think of a concert, it's not just bands. Like, you've got photographers, sound guys, stage managers, security guards who need that. Like, they're just punching the clock to the very last hour because they need that last dollar just to make rent, you know? Like, you have this whole industry filled with just countless people, and it was just like within a weekend, or a week. Like, I remember like New York shows got canceled, Seattle got canceled, Vegas got canceled, everything. It was just gone. And what really sucks too is a lot of those workers are 1099 workers because it's gig work. And so a lot of those people usually don't qualify for unemployment. So it's just really devastating. Well, on a more lighter note, because obviously we could talk about the chaos of the situation as much. How's it been like, you know, working with Groove, like hosting shows and whatnot?
It's funny because I remember when we first met and we started doing the shows, I remember going around looking for venues with you that one time, like in Brooklyn and Queen
Yeah.
and Manhattan. And so when we did the first show, it was really fun. I mean, I remember Back to Zero, and we had a bunch of awesome new bands that just, it was a great experience. And the more I started doing it, it was just, it became a really fun experience. I mean, some days it was a lot of work because, you know, some bands are easy to work with, and unfortunately some bands are a handful. And we talked about those. You know, there's some bands when I see their name on a bill, I can't wait to see them because they're just wonderful. You know, working with Green was interesting because it's made me a better even performer because hosting the shows and being fresh and motivating the crowds has been an invaluable skill. It's actually helped me develop that skill and kind of hone even my audition skills because, you know, when you get on the stage, I'm performing for a bunch of people who don't know me. And if the bands are good or bad, you have to keep the crowd engaged and wanting to be there. It's pretty much like in an audition room, they don't know you and you have to make the casting directors your new audience. So, I mean, it's been a pleasure. I think the thing I really like the most about working with Groove is all the cool people I met at the venues. Like, I love the Knitting Factory staff. They're wonderful. Like, a lot of people are my friends now. Working at Drum was a great time. The Delancey, I mean, the guys who run the Delancey run just a tight ship. It's just an easy place to work with. So I really like the fact that we've got really good venues that just working there makes it so easy to do the job. You know, we have
For sure.
sound guys, you know, great security people. So these people are really, really wonderful people to work with that make the shows, even the difficult shows, fun to do.
For sure. Yeah, and you're great. Like, and I'm not just saying that because we're like talking face to face, obviously. But I remember absolutely checking out before when Groove was expanding into New York. I remember checking out venues. I remember meeting you, and I remember like within a day just thinking like, I've got my guy. I've got this really charismatic, like really awesome guy that's not afraid to like talk in front of the audience. Because production managing with Groove anyway it's two parts. It's one, running a tight ship, and then two, being like being the smiling person that everybody loves and is like kind of like, you know, hosting the party. And you definitely have both of that. Like, one, you run a really tight ship, which I think comes from your acting background, or you just might be insanely competent. And then
I'm gonna say both on that one.
but yeah, and then also too, I know yeah, with you, especially in New York, whenever we do shows, I get so many bands that hit me up and they're like, Cass is amazing. I love Cass. We're in love with Cass. You know what I should do is I should copy. I should actually. I mean, we've got nothing but time now, so I might as well just dig into my old text messages, and I could probably put together, without exaggerating, probably like a solid like more than 10 to 15 just individual messages from different bands of people just saying that they're, you know, in love with you. So you're amazing, dude. I'm really glad that you're with us for sure.
Thank you. I mean, and I think one thing I really enjoy is I've met so many wonderful bands. Like, and it's funny, you feel it now because of COVID, but people really undervalue the social impact of live music. And now we're really, really missing it. Like, the bands, all the bands, you know, the fact that they got up, whether they were quote unquote great bands or better bands, the fact that they got up to take time out of their weekend after work to perform is wonderful and admirable. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're willing to put their love for their music put on stage in front of people they didn't know. You know, sell tickets and be at these awesome venues. And I've met so many wonderful bands, like, and I've heard so much interesting music, you know, from rock bands, like bands, music I would never listen to because I'm hosting the show. Like, they've made fans out of me. I really like the bands who've made me fans of music genres that I wouldn't typically listen to and love them. And I think that's the coolest part of it.
Right.
Like, you know what? This band put me onto, you know, death metal. This band put me onto heavy metal. This band made me a bigger R&B fan. Like, Cuban, we have like a Cuban rock band. Like, we've had a lot of interesting bands that were like, you know what? This is fascinating. And I think live music right now is very socially important. It was, you know, it gathers people together. It makes people happy. It's a great, you know, distraction from a busy day of work. So what the bands do is important. Like, what you guys do is great, because the thing I like about sound is that, and I say this every show, John, you give bands that have never had the opportunity to perform in New York City at these venues an opportunity to showcase their talent. And what you do is great. You know,
Thanks, man.
you're great at always telling other people how wonderful you are, but what you do is wonderful too.
Thanks, man.
Through indie venue guy, you know, Coachella's not that shit anymore. You know, people are, oh, Coachella's indie. No, If you're Rita Ora and you're Coachella, you're not indie. Kid Cudi is not indie. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Calvin Harris is not indie. These people are not indie. Or even Kygo. Kygo's not an indie DJ. Kygo's not an indie DJ. You know what I'm saying? But
for sure,
The Haunting are indie. You know, C Plus. You know, Vendetta Rose. You know.
Oh yeah.
Weird America, the Angry Pirates. You know, we have some amazing bands. You know, like Silent Tides. I mean, so many amazing bands that we've seen that were just amazing. Those are really indie bands, and I can't even tell you how many of them I was like, if I could have a record label around, there were at least 15 bands. Another one who should be signed to major record labels right now. And
for sure,
that's all thanks to you and what you.
Well, they're definitely killing it right now. King Queen, actually, I know when we come back, what's weird too is we had all these special things planned out too. We were going to Leon and the Peoples. We were going to do special Leon and the Peoples shows right around summertime. King Queen, very similar. We were going to do in May. We were planning on doing King Queen shows, and of course this pandemic hit. So I highly expect that once once things return back to normal, we'll definitely have these shows again, especially these headliner shows that we're planning out too.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever be back to normal now. I think the world has changed too much now. I think normal's going to be a different term now. But I think once things are safer, is what I'm saying to people now, I think groove is going to come back even harder because people are so excited to go to a live show. It's going to reset the success of groove, honestly.
I hear you. Well, yeah, I mean, we have the clients for it. We've got like 3,000 clients that are, we're just waiting to do shows again.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a resurgence for you in a really cool way. I think people are going to be breaking their necks to come to a live show because people are going to be so happy to get outside and be in a bar and drink and listen to live music. I think it's going to be groove, 4.0, and it's going to be amazing, actually. I'm very excited to see how we as a team come out of this.
I appreciate that. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it. I do have 2 questions for you. Do you have any zebras? Are you sick of the zebras? Maybe 3 questions. And, do you need a new hat?
I have, I think, 2 zebras.
Cool.
I'm sick of the other foldables. I like the zebras. I don't like the other foldables. And I have.
Okay.
I think I have. Yes, I have the Hollywood hat.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure you had. I actually, we almost sold out of our Hollywood hats, but I'm hanging on to like 4 or 5 of them, just in case like people such as yourself like need an extra one or something like that.
I mean, I'm just disappointed we don't have a Sound the Groove New York hat. We've been holding it down so hard for you guys for the longest. Sometimes,
yeah.
I mean, sometimes better than the LA show. Like New York's been killing it. I'm like, we get no hats, John. What's up?
I will say this, and I'll definitely say it publicly. Hopefully, I don't kick myself in the ass for saying this, but New York, like, you guys have been running it so well that I have never needed to come to New York and like fix things. Like, I actually came to New York knowing that, and the only thing I had to do was like, basically, I went to New York with the sole intention of getting you guys drunk because I was like, I have no notes. Like, you guys run a tight ship in New York for sure.
Thank you. We do our best. Justin's awesome. He's a great addition to the team. We have the best photographer, like Lou is amazing. Rachel's just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Kareem is just a pleasure to work with. He makes the show fun every time. So I like our staff in New York, and like I said, we've partnered with such really awesome venues, so it makes it easy to do the job even on days it's difficult because the vibe as a whole is always fun.
Right. Yeah, no, we got a good family over there. What would you say is the most fun event that you've ever done so far with Groove?
That's a hard one. I would say my top 4. Our first show at Drum, because that was insane. Our first big show.
Oh, yeah.
The heavy metal show we had at the Knitting Factory with Paranosis and all those bands, that was just insane on President's Day weekend. That was just an insane one.
That was a crazy night.
Yeah, the St. Patrick's Day show the first time and I think we had a really amazing near 4th of July party in the Knitting Factory.
Nice. Yeah, I remember the St. Patrick's Day one. That was God, the Manhattan Project. And I remember the dancers jumped on stage. They had the fedoras.
Yeah, so we
It was
got
crazy.
5 of like I remember the heavy metal show, the St. Patrick's Day show, the show at Drum, and 2 shows at Drum because I remember our first show and the show that we had King Queen first make their debut on.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, the first show and then definitely King Queen's show, which was just, we got some sick photos from that too. I think Tiffany was shooting that night.
And the heavy metal show at the Knitting Factory was just insane. I was on my feet the entire time because the crowd, I think it was our biggest show there. We had 200 people there. It was insane. It was
Rad.
insane. I mean, the Knitting Factory loved us that night. Like, they made the bartenders make so much money. It was like, we didn't have a moment to breathe. It was just insane. Insane.
Rad.
Super. And the St. Patrick's Day show was just hilarious.
For sure. Sometimes those the hard rock and heavy metal shows do really well because those punk kids just drink so much, and it's usually just PBR or whatever, but they drink a lot.
Yes, those were probably the bigger shows I remember.
Cool. So, what would you say is the first thing you're going to do when things go back to normal?
Hug a lot of people.
Rad.
Hug a lot of people.
Hopefully, I'm one of them.
Oh, yeah. I'm hugging and kissing the shit out of the homies.
Hell yeah. Well, sweet, man. Is there anything that you kind of want to like promote or announce while I kind of have you here?
There's nothing to promote or announce. There's nothing happening right now. I would just tell people to be socially distant, listen to the scientists, be kind to one another. If you see something racist happening, don't be a part of it, and just be aware and try to take care of the people you love and check on your strong friends, check on your weak friends. Everyone's on their phones now, so there's no reason we can't be extra diligent and try to kind of be kind to each other, because right now the world is sick, but kindness is kind of one of the things we need to really promote right now. So that's what I'm pushing.
Dude, hell yeah. I couldn't agree entirely. Yeah, and if you see something racist, don't just not be a part of it, but speak up against it. And like you said, check in on your strong friends, check in on your weak friends. You know, I'm just going to repeat everything you just said. Couldn't say it any better. So everybody, this is Casimir of Sound the Groove, New York. His name is Cass. I should probably stop saying Casimir. And just
I like to call me Casimir. I prefer that better.
Cool. Well, everybody, phenomenal human being that we work with. Cass, I absolutely miss you, man, and I can't wait to go out and have a couple drinks with you and hug the homies with you.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome, man. I'll chat with you in a bit. We text each other all day anyway.
Love you, man.
All day. All right, bud. Peace.